Welcome back, everyone. Today's deep dive is going to be
Hmm.
something that's been kind of bugging me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, wait a minute. You walk into any taekwondo place or a karate school, and it's like a million kids running around, right? But Aikido, not so much. So I started digging around, reading articles, watching some videos on YouTube, even found some stuff from this group called A Diffusion. And now I'm like really wondering,
Yeah.
is there something about how we teach Aikido that's like totally missing the mark with younger people?
Hmm. Yeah, you've definitely hit on something interesting there. That the stuff you found, I bet it points to some pretty good answers too. One thing that really jumps out is like the demographics. Did you know that like 95% of Aikido people are over 34 years old?
Huh?
And the average age is like 50.
Whoa, 50?
Yeah. That's a huge difference from a lot of other martial arts where you see way more younger folks.
Yeah, you're right. And it's not like kids aren't into martial arts these days. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
they're all about that ninja life. So what gives? Is Aikido just not cool enough for them or something?
It's not really about being cool or not.
Okay.
Aikido is like super deep rooted in philosophy and personal growth stuff.
Yeah.
It's all about harmony and not fighting.
Right.
Actually, there aren't even competitions in like traditional Aikido.
Really?
Nope. So most adults who get into Aikido, they're looking for something a bit deeper,
I see.
like fitness, maybe exploring Japanese culture. Some even see it as like a spiritual thing.
Interesting.
But, all that might not be what like a 10-year-old is really thinking about.
Yeah, a 10-year-old's probably more into like how to do a cool wrist lock or something. Not so much,
Yeah,
the deeper meaning of not fighting back.
exactly.
But I'm guessing it's got to be more than just the no competition thing holding kids back, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Think about it this way. Okay. Would you ever try to teach like a 5-year-old kid some crazy engineering stuff?
Ah, probably not. I'd end up with a kid who hates engineering and a bunch of crayons all over my textbooks.
Haha, exactly. And that's kind of what's happening with Aikido in a way.
Hmm.
The moves are really complicated. The ideas behind it, you kind of need to be older to get them. And the way it's usually taught, it's like made for grown-ups.
So it's like expecting a kid to run a marathon before they can even walk.
Exactly.
So you're saying traditional Aikido, it's like throwing a kid into a college physics class.
Yeah, and expecting them to like ace the final exam.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
So there are people who see this problem, you know,
Yeah.
but then there's also like a lot of traditional Aikido groups that are really resistant to change.
Really?
Yeah, they've been doing things the same way forever. And for some of them, changing things up to get kids involved is like a big no-no.
Wow. That's surprising. You'd think they'd want to share Aikido with everyone, right?
You'd think so, yeah.
Young and old.
But there's this fear that if you change how you teach it, even for kids, it's like you're ruining the art somehow,
Oh, I see.
like making it less authentic.
So this resistance to change, it might be why we don't see a lot of young people doing Aikido.
Exactly.
It's like they're stuck. They want to pass on Aikido, but they're not sure how to make it work for the next generation.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where this A Kids diffusion thing comes in.
Okay.
They're basically challenging that whole mindset. They're saying,
Mm.
hey, if we want Aikido to keep going, we got to make it fun and easy for kids to understand.
Hmm. So they're not getting rid of tradition, they're just trying to make it work for kids.
Yeah, they're creating a whole new way of teaching Aikido just for kids and teenagers.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What does this new way actually look like? How are they making Aikido click with kids?
Well, remember that analogy with the 5-year-old engineer? A Kids diffusion. They really get that. They know you can't just throw crazy Aikido moves at a kid and expect them to be like, oh, yeah, I got this.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do they do it differently? Do they like water down the techniques or what?
No, not at all. It's all about breaking things down into smaller steps.
Oh,
Steps that make sense for kids of different ages, building up from like basic movement and coordination and making it playful too.
so are we talking like obstacle courses and ninja games?
There's definitely some of that in there,
Cool.
but it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
A Kids Diffusion is really big on what they call holistic development.
What's that?
It means it's not just about the physical stuff.
Okay.
It's about building character teaching, leadership skills, social emotional learning.
Oh, wow.
All the important stuff that helps kids grow up well.
And they're doing all that through Aikido.
They're weaving it right into the Aikido practice.
Okay, that's really interesting. But how do you actually teach those things?
Yeah.
Can you really teach leadership through a wrist lock?
Maybe not through the wrist lock itself, but through how you teach it. Like
Mhm.
they might have kids pair up and take turns leading and following in a technique.
Oh, I see.
This helps them learn to trust each other, communicate, and understand that they got to look out for their partner,
Right?
which is a big part of leadership.
That's so smart. It's like sneaking in life lessons while they're having fun with the moves.
Exactly.
I like that.
And this focus on holistic development, it's what makes A Kids diffusion different. They get that kids aren't just empty containers waiting to be filled up with Aikido techniques.
Right.
They're each their own person with their own ways of learning.
Yeah. So they're not trying to turn kids into mini adults on the mat. They're helping them be the best kids they can be while learning Aikido.
That's it. And another big thing is they're really serious about having specialized instructors.
What do you mean?
Like they're not just looking for any high-level Aikido black belt.
Oh,
They want instructors who really love working with kids
makes sense.
and who understand how kids develop and how to teach them in a way that works.
So it's not enough to be amazing at Aikido. You also got to be amazing at teaching kids.
Exactly. A-Kids Diffusion gives their instructors a ton of training and resources,
Oh, wow.
covering stuff like how to teach different age groups, how to make lessons fun and engaging,
That's cool.
and how to understand what kids of different ages need.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're going all out to make sure this new way of teaching really works.
They are, and it's already showing results.
Really?
Yeah, tons of instructors have gone through their training programs, and everyone's saying really positive things.
Wow.
Kids are loving this new approach, and parents are seeing the benefits.
That's awesome.
It's not just about getting kids to move around, it's about helping them become well-rounded people.
Sounds like a win-win.
Totally. And the exciting part is this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah?
A-Kids Diffusion is still pretty new, but it's already making a big impact in the Aikido world.
It makes you wonder, though, if this new way is working so well, can traditional Aikido really ignore it? Can something so steeped in tradition really change so much?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can traditional Aikido, with all its history and rules, really change how it teaches people, especially kids?
It feels like there's this big choice to make.
Mhm.
On one side, you've got this amazing tradition with masters who've dedicated their lives to Aikido as it is. And on the other side, you've got this new generation, these kids who learn differently. And this A-Kids Diffusion group saying, hey, we got to adapt if we want Aikido to survive.
Yeah, it's a really interesting tension. And to be honest, I don't think it has to be one or the other. Like the whole point of Aikido is about harmony and blending.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how it can move forward too.
So you think there's room for both? Tradition and innovation can work together.
Totally. Imagine if traditional Aikido schools started using some of these A-Kids Diffusion ideas.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Adapting how they teach, creating spaces for kids to learn in a way that makes sense for them.
I like it.
You wouldn't be messing up the art. You'd be making sure it keeps going.
It's like taking the heart of Aikido, you know,
Yeah.
the harmony, the peaceful spirit, and sharing it with a whole new generation.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe these kids, as they grow up, they'll bring new ideas and energy back into the traditional ways too.
I think you're right.
It's not about replacing the old with the new. It's about finding a way for both to exist together.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Wow, this whole deep dive has really opened my eyes. I started out wondering why there weren't more kids in Aikido. And now I'm seeing this whole movement for change, this chance for Aikido to grow and evolve.
That's the power of knowledge, isn't it? It makes you question things. It shows you new ways of looking at the world.
It does.
So for everyone listening out there, if you're part of the Aikido world, I really encourage you to check out A-Kids Diffusion. See what you think.
Yeah.
Even if you're just curious about Aikido for yourself or your kids, this could be a great way to start.
It's about more than just martial arts. It's about becoming a better person, finding a community, finding that harmony within yourself and with others.
That's it.
And who knows, maybe you'll be part of shaping the future of Aikido, helping it grow and thrive for years to come.
That's a great thought. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop learning.
Awesome advice.
Until next time.